Shed guys are back again this morning, doing with those concrete panels. They leave on Friday, the guys, so hopefully the last load of concrete panels come by Thursday, so we can put them up on Friday. Sparky's coming today, so me and him I think are going to be doing all the lights. I'll be keeping them up in the sky, he'll be putting the lights up. So got a wee party of cows following me this morning. Morning Holly! So I'm just in the field of rape at the moment. Big breakdown. It's the drill working there. Ducklings are definitely not ducklings anymore, they're huge. Spud is currently in there, but he's already looking at the gap to escape. As I say that, he's out. Going round him up, Lulu, going round him up. There they come. Lulu. Hopefully once there's a wee bit of rain, the nitrogen we put on it the other day will soak in. Grass will come through a wee bit more, but just because there's plenty cattle on here, and especially now the calves are all getting bigger, they're consuming more grass. Once we get a creek feeder, maybe drop a wee bit, so just kind of a wee supplementary bit, and they're quite happy to have it, they're charging in. These are the lights that are going on. I think there's going to be 8 in total going up. All the wiring's made up for it. There you go, 200 watt. Should be good enough. Change of plan. Our forklift and extension is just too short. Doesn't quite reach because the roof is so damn high. So we're thinking, well, hopefully the shed guys are going to have a spare cherry picker. I'll wait until the main guy gets back. But he did hint at that last night. We're just going to head to get the banger out in the field, to scare the crows away. The sunflowers are well on now, they don't really need protected, so go and pick that up. So there we go, that's it. Disconnected the gas, disconnected the battery, turned off the gas, good to go. And there's your barley. So that's a head of barley, you can see the awns there. You see another load just there. Concrete panels coming in, second last load. You see the guys putting the sheets on there, so just work all the way along there. So that's the finished product effectively. Pretty smart. The sheets are so short because the wall's so high. Kev's just away in to top this wee field. The gate's quite narrow and Coon Topper is quite wide. See how he gets on. No, it's tight. Bit of a squeeze. Need to get another staff car moved so we can get into this field as well. They generally park in front of these because we're out of spaces so there's not any spaces anywhere. See him there just nicking round. Do that on this paddock because there's all the wee thin wiry bits that the sheep don't really eat. Flatten all that, let the decent grass through. Yankee screwdriver, that's what this is called, and it's basically the early version of a drill, and it basically extends like that. You put it into wherever your screw is, which is this brick, and then you go like that and it twists it. You can change the direction of it, and yeah, early version of a drill, and now never gets used, just sits in the pocket of Dad's car. Final walls going in, that'll completely seal it off. Boom fitted, just need to plumb the boom line in, plug it in, and then it's pretty much good to go. The lance still works, just need to try the boom now. And the nozzles work. Wow, it worked first time. Nothing ever works the first time. If it works first time, that means you've done it before. Okay, I take it back, it didn't work first time. This wee piece that sits in there in the pump connects that hose. It's just not sealing right, so I'm going to chuck a new O-ring on it and see if that helps. Seems to be better now, they're spraying fine. There is wee valves on them here, so shut that off. You can keep it to just these two, or you can shut the end one off and keep it just to the middle. Got a wee bit of adjustment in that. And the pump's now not leaking. So we've got the two valves here. We can choose which way we want to go, shut them both off, have them both on, whatever we want to do, and then you've got adjustment on the back end as well. Sheets are all out that side. Digger guys are down the end, just finishing off the edges. Sparky's up top. These guys are flashing off the top of the concrete. And then this end wall is just about finished. There's 10 more panels to come to complete the whole thing. Getting on with the sheets now. Nothing will happen next week though. The end of this week, the first of the concrete gets poured, and then there's nothing happening next week. And a puncture on here, repaired. It's on the topper. Went flat yesterday. This is the gauge for the airline, blowing up tyres and whatnot. So it's the trigger on here. It's meant to be a trigger and it pushes that button, but the trigger's missing, and also it doesn't really show the pressure too much. So I'm just needing to have a look over it. It's been like this for a while, so finally get a wee bit of time to look at it. So it's just, it pivots around this point and pushes this trigger in, but when you're sitting for a few minutes holding that trigger down and there's pressure in it, it's sore in your thumb, because it's meant to have a trigger but it snapped off. So making a new one out of an old keyway. So that goes in there, pivots off of there, triggers that. Definitely not special, definitely not fancy, but it works. Now grabbing this tractor, I'm back in the old tractor. Kev's taking his tractor back. Bit of a shame. Anyway, get this tractor, I need to head along the road, get an empty trailer, because there's some rubbish and whatnot to put away. Put it in a trailer so it's out the road, because there's no empty trailers here. That one behind me, I don't want to put rubbish in. That trailer over there, it's got oats in it that I collected yesterday. Need to get the feed made up, but we've not got a creep feeder coming for another week and a half, so I've got a week and a half to make feed for the calves. Trailer on, trailer home there. That's that rubbish there, and there's a few other bits and bobs lying about the farm, the yard that can go into that trailer. Question of the day, not sure what it's going to be yet. It's going to be to do with this engine bay in the forklift. What is this? This wee yellow thing. Seems to move about. Have a guess. Quite an easy one. Sparky's got a flat tire. He's got a nail. Get that out and plug it. Plugged. And the wee nail slash screw slash, I think it's actually a wee tech screw. And the head's missing off it. Anyway, it's out. See how the container's looking. Ooh, there we go. We've also put on bonding onto the door so they can seal it too, so they can plyboard it as well. So this is the plyboard finish, and then you can see the insulation in between all the gaps. Still have both the gable ends to fill in with sheeting. A wee bit on one of the long ends. What else to do? All the seams and all the concrete need to be filled in, so grain doesn't go in there, so moisture can't come through from the outside as well. Concrete floor needs to be poured on the whole place. It'll be done 3 pours. Hands are not very clean. 3 pours. So the first side's getting done 2 days from now. So tomorrow, digger guys are coming to prep the area for it. So digger guys, they're good at their concrete, so they're doing all the concrete. It is quite massive, really tall in comparison to any shed we've got. Tallest shed by a country mile. Just allow us to tip Arctic lorries in here, tip our trailers, just don't even bother looking up, just tip it up. You can see the lights there, and then one more still to go at the end. And we were looking at where we wanted the lights on this ceiling, and we could have gone every second rafter, so that light would have been here. But I kind of didn't want any dark spots in the corner, because you could get that if you're right here, because there's no overlap from the next light with these edges. So just brought that in slightly, So it's offset on this end and on that end, and the two middle lights are 2 rafters apart. So there's 2.5 rafters between these lights and 2 rafters between the middle, 2.5 between the end. So hopefully that'll just kind of make sure the whole shed's well lit. We're splitting it into the 2 switches, so you can switch this end on and that end on. Just gonna go right into the corner so we can get a good view. Oh, that is good, that. I'm gonna have my bed in here at this rate. I've just been doing laps of it for about 5 minutes. Polythene for the floor, rebar for the edges, and there's your kind of, I don't know what you call them, butterfly type, V-shaped, whatever. Basically they loop round the steel here. There's a hole there for them to go through. They come in, come out here, and then a rebar mesh like those sit there, and you pour the concrete here. It's all tied in to the actual beam of the shed, so it's all solid. These are partitions, so because we're doing it in thirds, it's going to be 1/3, so line these partitions up against the third that we're pouring, so that it can't kind of slop over, and you get a nice edge that you then use the next time you do your next pour as an edge instead. So get all them laying, quite big beefy chunks of steel those. These steel plates, I assume they are to join those pieces together, kind of overlapping so they can't move. Beefy bits of steel, 10mm, 12mm maybe, big hunks. And then these are the cones that the rebar sits on top of, because you don't want the rebar just to be on the floor, you want it kind of halfway in between the 6 inches, so these will be 3 inches tall and the rebar will sit on them. Sheeting for the gable ends, longer pieces. Still got, there's no short pieces in here, but there's still some short ones obviously for them. They'll just be on the outside. This is all the sheeting. These are the wee flashings that sit up there, and they're the flats that then sit further up. So these flashings go halfway up, those flats go the rest of the way up. And that's it. How to build a big old grain store. I mean, I've not built it, but I've watched it being built, learnt a few bits. Don't think I could do it myself yet. I think it could possibly be very squint if I built it, just as well as professionals are doing it. There's the finished article, other than the gutter, finished article on the outside. Dozer's just arrived there, he's pulled up. Dozer we're getting used to finish off the complete level in there, so there's definitely a 6-inch pad across all the floor. The last load of panels, 9, 10, just as well.